Previously on the Bleach Brothers podcast. I'm telling you what, man, this conversation's going really good. I'm going to do this. Hold on, listen.
I heard that crack. Yeah, I know what you're doing. You're opening a beer.
Oh,
Beer is good.
Yeah,
Beer
dude.
is good and stuff.
So I just opened up this Rogue Ales. It's a Batsquatch. It's a hazy India Pale Ale.
It's a great beer.
And let me tell you, hold on one second. Hold on. Damn, that's good.
It's a good beer. I like it.
It's a great beer.
I like IPAs. I mean, they can be a little heavy. I've had this beer. So I actually have this.
So what do you like about this beer?
I like the citrus notes. You know how it's almost a little light and vibrant in the beginning, and it had a heavy finish. But this is actually a beer I like to cook with. So I also picked up this beer because me and you, just a side note to the fans, we were talking because we talk a lot about beer sometimes, and we want to be able to, since we live in different areas, sometimes talk about the same stuff. So it's not like, oh, I have this and you have that. Like, we actually tried to come together. And you sent me a long list, and I didn't get all of them, but I did get this one, and I actually made a dish for the summer with this beer that I think
really
you would like. Yeah, so I like to make, as a chef, vinaigrettes for salads. I think they're I'm not a big fan of super heavy creamy dressings. I don't think they're as healthy, and I mean they don't brighten up a dish as well. So I made a bacon IPA vinaigrette with this beer.
Oh, that sounds good.
And so I tried to accentuate a few things out of it. Of course, I put the bacon in it because I think bacon's good in salad. It's good in a summer salad, especially against fruit. So what I did is I took, just basic mixed greens. I put some orange peel in it that I fried. If you put raw orange peel, like zest, it's actually really good to put in a salad. It opens up. And then some fresh herbs. But then I made a dressing with bacon fat and the IPA.
With bacon fat?
Yes, so I take the grease after I cook the bacon. So I took some of the bacon fat, and I took probably about 2 tablespoons of that, and I did about 3 ounces of pale ale, some shallot, some orange zest, honey, Dijon mustard, oil, of course, to go along with some of the bacon fat, because you don't just want to overpower it with that. Okay. And then, salt and pepper. I'll post up this recipe to our page for people to try out. But I essentially shook this up until it was emulsified, which is essentially the fats and the oil, or the oil and the vinegar coming together and blending. Like, so I don't know if you know this, Brian, when you take a salad dressing and you see it and it's all separated, if you shake it really fast, that's emulsifying. You're making the fats break down and the compounds connect, okay? And that's why it gets it'll go from those clear separated colors to a creamier, bright pink color or whatever, whatever type of oils you used in it.
Sure.
So I took this beer, made a bacon vinaigrette, took some mixed greens, some orange peel, some bacon, and just mixed that in a salad and ate it outside with the wife. And it was very enjoyable because the beer added its own little nuance of flavor along with everything else in it. And also the fact that, I didn't let this beer go flat in anything. It still had some of the citrus notes and everything. So it really opened up. I thought it was a great dish. And also the nice thing is if you do stuff like that, you can also drink the beer with it and sort of have it go along with the rest of the meal. But what do you
talked about beer? Well, I got a real quick question for you about your recipe, because you talked about putting you had bacon, like sliced or diced bacon in it in the recipe. Is that right?
Yes.
So if you were to do something like this, could you put an additional protein in there, like chicken strips or not chicken strips, obviously, but like sliced chicken or something like that too?
Yeah, and my rule of thumb with that is I'm not one of those people, like, unless it's pizza or a sandwich, don't put same animal on animal action, if that makes sense.
Right.
So like pizza,
No, totally.
I would not put ham or pork. You could do that, but for differences, the whole point of salads is for a lot of dishes, for every little difference to come together. You don't want to overpower with one thing, especially with cured meats. So cured meats are salty and heavier, and so even pork cooked is going to be that way. So I would do this typically with chicken, something lighter, because this is a lighter dressing. You can do it with steak, but the heavier the meat,
that seems kind of heavy.
The heavier the meat, and honestly, I like steak salad, but the steak has to be hot.
When you talked about your recipe, I instantly thought, okay, this really sounds really good. But I like protein in my salad. You know,
Okay.
I'm the 0 to our 10 couple. Okay, so I'm the
Right.
rounder one here, right?
Right.
And so I like salads, but I also like to have protein in the salad. So I'm almost thinking like if you're cooking a shrimp or
That
even
would
like a
be really
grilled
good.
chicken.
Shrimp is
Yeah,
also, I
and
was going to
that's
say, that's the next best pick because you're going to go along with the citrus and everything too. And that's going to, but
right,
I was going to say my
right.
favorite protein to add to salads actually is egg.
See, yeah, I like eggs in
I
salad.
love
Yeah, I think
boiling
it's really
eggs,
good.
or even one of my favorite things. And a lot of people don't typically do this. You can put a poached egg on salad, but poached eggs, just being honest, unless you're really chefy and you're really into making it, it's a lot of work, a lot of cleanup compared to the results, and they're harder to make. But I love
Right.
fried eggs on salad, runny
Really? I
yolks.
don't think
Oh
I've ever
yes.
had a fried egg on
And a
salad.
lot of it's like have you ever had like fried egg on pizza? It's one of those things like you think about
I
it, you're like, yeah, that
have.
actually sounds, yeah, and it was delicious, right? But it was
Yeah.
different. You weren't thinking about it. So I like to actually put it on there because also it's another fat and it's another like almost component. When you cut open that egg
Right.
and it goes against like a nice arugula with oil on it and salt, it's one of those
See, I
changing
would
moments that just is great.
I would have never thought about that, man. I really enjoy these conversations about some of your recipes because when you describe it, it makes me think about it, and also it makes me think like I can actually do it because your
Hmm.
recipes are actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, fried egg on a salad. I mean, I would have never thought to do that. I have had fried egg on a pizza before. When my daughter and I went to Italy, that was one of the pizzas we had. They actually had fried eggs on the pizza, and then they also on different pizza actually had a hard boiled egg, half a hard boiled egg on the pizza. So it was pretty interesting. I really liked the taste. It wasn't terrible at all.
I think
But
salads
but
are. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no. I was just going to transition back to your salad and just say that it sounds really good because as I drink this beer right now, I do notice the tropical fruit taste, the mango,
Yep.
the tangerine. You get a lot of citrus out of it, but the
Hmm.
flavor of this beer is actually really full. You have the full flavor of the hazy IPA, and I think it goes great on a summer day, especially listening to your recipe there and you describing the salad. I can definitely see how this would be great in a cold glass right next to your plate of salad as you're sitting outside on the porch.
Well, the nice thing is too when you do like things with like beer, champagne, or stuff like that in vinaigrettes, not only with the acid and everything, but it's going to cut through fats, and so adding protein to the
Right.
salad would be really good. But the other thing I like to do is the reason I like to make dressings is one, it gets you to eat more salads. I think salads are great. You know
Mm-hmm.
me on my Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
I have that eat more salads, and I post up one that I do.
Right.
But the other thing is it's actually the perfect accompaniment meal for grilling something quick. So, like you were saying, shrimp. What I would
Right.
do is I would either grill some peaches and pork, or I'd grill some shrimp or even some tomatoes, and I'd throw them in the salad. So you get that warm and cold and sort of all together, and then a cold beer next to it.
Right. Right.
Because I think I
Absolutely.
think I
That
think a
sounds
lot
great.
of people get afraid of, they think they get stuck in that box of a salad is cold, a steak is
Right.
hot, and a beer is cold. I'm not saying drink a warm beer, but you go. And I think you get the point I'm trying to make is you go down that road and everything's always the same. And sometimes if you
Right.
mix the two, like putting a hot, warm, runny egg on a salad, it's actually really good, and it's going to
That
change it.
actually
So I,
does sound pretty good.
I would say I would suggest trying out this recipe. It's quick, and as you said, I try to make them easy. I had to learn that a long time ago because I'm a classically French trained chef, and I remember I'll never forget the first episode of TV I did. I got so many complaints that I made it too hard because I made it too chefy. And at some point, it's not that you have to dumb things down, but you got to make things that people can use too. Because there's nothing worse, Brian, than when I open a recipe book or anything, because I use them too, and I look at an ingredient that I'll never use, and I'll go, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I want to make that. I'm like, oh, I got to go buy this whatever, and I'm going to use it for one
Right.
dish, and it's going to go bad, or I got to use all of it, and they don't sell it in this amount, stuff like that. Another
Right.
thing I like to put on this salad, though, and I think you'll find this weird, is bee pollen. I've been cooking a
Really?
lot with bee pollen. One, it's great for allergies, so anybody that has it, actually, it's a really good accompaniment for it. Because my favorite ingredient in the world, I don't know if you know this about me, Brian, is honey. It's natural. It's the best product
Mm-hmm.
on the planet. It's sweet. It goes with everything. It goes in anything. It's a natural, it's a natural sweetener, but I mean, it doesn't go bad. And so I was buying local honey at a farm like I usually do, and I saw a big jar of bee pollen, and I was like, oh, and I started talking to the guy. So I've been adding that to salads lately, and it actually has some flavor. It adds color. It adds that mystical thing, like when you put it on, and people are like, oh, what is that? it looks different. They haven't seen it. And I actually put that on this salad too, and it was very interesting and stuff. I'll actually post a picture of it when I make it again for people to see too, because I like to take pictures of food, and I think I do a decent job of it. But you eat with your eyes.
We'll
too,
definitely.
So sometimes it's important.
We'll definitely get the recipe on our socials for sure, so that way all the listeners can follow and potentially try out the recipe. I'll also take a picture of the can. Now, very simple, right? I'm a simple man. I'm very easy to entertain. I bought the can of the Rogale Batsquatch specifically because it's a mix between a bat and Sasquatch, and the and the picture's really cool. Mm-hmm. But what I also liked about the can is that they do give a tale about the Batsquatch that's on there. And I'm not going to read it for the viewers. You guys can probably go online and find it. But underneath the story of what a Batsquatch is, it actually says that it pairs well with white cheddar, grilled salmon, or a strawberry shortcake. And this is how you know that Jake the Hater is also Jake the Tailgater, because he did not include any of those three foods to pair with it. Instead, he took his own spin on it, and this is why, Jake, you are a professional chef. You are a specialist at your craft, and that's why I enjoy listening to this to your recipes, man. I really do, because you make them personal, you make them easy to do, but you also you do your own spin. You got your own flavor, and I like that about you. You can now subscribe to Bleach Brothers Podcast on all major podcast networks, including Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, and more. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.